Portions of Aqua Kids have been produced with the cooperation of the National Estuarine Research Reserve System.
Welcome to our Great Lakes adventure. Over the next few months, we will be exploring Lake Erie and Lake Superior, along with their tributaries and coastal areas. We'll be highlighting the many programs, dedicated researchers, organizations, and individuals working to keep those fragile ecosystems healthy and productive. So, ready to make a difference? Building a better planet starts with you.
Aqua Kids, traveling around the world, going where we've never been before, having fun and so much more, learning from our friends of the sea, saving them is up to you and me. Aqua Kids.
Last week, we addressed the problems facing wetlands in and around Lake Erie. Today, we will be highlighting programs to improve and monitor the health of the watershed. We are here at the Watershed Stewardship Center in Cleveland, Ohio, continuing our Great Lakes adventure. Jeremiah is with the manager, Gail, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what they do here.
Thank you, Drew. So I'm here with Gail Albers, manager of the Watershed Stewardship Center. So Gail, tell me, why is this center so important to the Great Lakes?
Well, the Watershed Stewardship Center just opened in 2013, and we are a resource for researchers, education, and stewardship. And we're all about keeping the watersheds healthy and keeping people healthy too.
Tell us, what is a watershed?
Well, a watershed's an area of land and water that drains to the same common course. So for West Creek here, we've got about 14 square acres of land that drains to West Creek, and then that leads to the Cuyahoga River, which eventually leads to the Great Lakes in Lake Erie.
So is there something important that you guys have to do with the water that comes in here before it goes into the Cuyahoga River?
Well, you see, Ohio has a lot of rainfall in this area, so we get over 40 inches of rainfall and snow, and all of that precipitation has to go somewhere. Cleveland's an urban area, Parma's very urbanized, and when that water hits the ground, it's got to go somewhere. So we try to showcase stormwater management features throughout this center that show how residents can actually allow that stormwater to stay on their property, spread it out, slow it down, and let it slowly infiltrate back into the system. Okay. And that keeps our watersheds a lot more healthy.
So you probably have some examples of how to do it the right way. Can we go take a look?
Absolutely. Let's go have some fun.
All right. The Watershed Stewardship Center is staffed by natural resource and education professionals, land protection specialists, volunteers, and visiting scientists. Their mission of enhancing and protecting urban watersheds is achieved through innovative community programming, encouraging regional participation in watershed issues, and promoting scientific discovery.
Hey guys, the first place we're going to check out is the live roof. Careful, we're doing a limbo contest here.
Oh, he cheated.
Yeah, look at that.
Go in.
I think you won. All right, let's go check out this roof. So we've got a roof full of plants out here. Check it out, you guys. We've got some sedums up here that of 4 different species and circle onions, and all of these plants are really critical for stormwater management. And the reason why is they can take up a lot of water, and then they can actually dry up and release that water over time. So they help with our stormwater management system here at West Creek.
So Gail, the soil that all these plants are in, is it designed for a certain roof like this?
Yeah, Andrew, this was installed and it has bioengineered soil. So this soil is engineered so that it can hold that water and let it infiltrate. And then we have a cistern down below, which you saw earlier today, and that holds 2,500 gallons of water. Wow. So we can reclaim this water and use it when we need it.
That's great.
And is the roof hard to maintain?
No, not too bad. We actually mow it twice a year and apply a little bit of fertilizer, and we have some graduate students that are doing some research to find out just how effective this management feature is.
So what's the advantage of a green roof other than having dirt over your head?
Well, first of all, it's beautiful. It provides habitat for wildlife, but moreover, it soaks up that rainwater. We get 40 inches of rainwater a year here in northeastern Ohio, and this soaks it up and allows us to reclaim it.
Can you explain why this roof is at some sort of angle?
Well, this roof is on a slant, and it's slanted downward so that each of these cells kind of picks up the nutrients, cleanses the water, and then the actual water that comes out of the cistern is already filtered. It's like its own filtration system.
So we've got this beautiful green roof here, but Gail, what else are you guys doing here to help with stormwater runoff?
Well, we have dozens of examples. Let's go see.
All right.
Gail, what do we have here?
Well, this is your typical residential rain barrel, and this is something that residents can construct in their own backyards. Now what it does is it takes the water from the roof and routes it through this gutter, and it intercepts it here, and then the water can be contained in this 55-gallon drum. And then when you get it full, you can use it to water your flowers.
So Laura, these impervious surfaces like the asphalt that we're walking on, how are they managed?
Let me show you. So Drew and Andrew, this is a bioretention cell. It's also called a rain garden to some people. And this is designed to infiltrate water, so it slows down the storm water before it gets to the stream. Because when too much water gets to the stream, it's bad for us and the fish and the stream.
So this entire stretch of plants is the bioretention cell?
Yep.
Wow.
So now, Laura, you're going to show us how this bioretention cell infiltrates the water, right?
Yes, I am.
So what are we looking for here?
So I'm going to bring this up, releasing air, because this whole thing is filled with water. And we're releasing air into what's called the Guelph permeameter so that the water goes down.
So the ground actually soaked up all that water?
Yeah, it's like it wasn't even here.
Wow.
So now where does that water go?
So there's about 4 feet of substrate under us, and it's bioengineered soil, gravel, and it all went below us into that engineered substrate.
So this is an engineered substrate. Isn't that what's like on the roof?
Very similar, yes.
So it looks like you guys are doing a lot of great things here. But to my right is what I understand to be an engineered wetland. So please explain what this actually does.
So Jeremiah, this was constructed and engineered to basically intercept all of the stormwater from our bioswales and rain chains, and this is the receiving water body. It acts like a sponge. It takes up that water when it's really rainy, and it soaks it in and allows it to more slowly go out to West Creek.
Well, thank you so much for having us, Gail. We learned so much information today.
No, I love seeing all this rich, green plants and infrastructure making a positive impact in our environment. I thank you.
You're welcome, Jeremiah. Come back and visit anytime.
I definitely will.
Now it's time for Aqua Quiz with your host, Drew Cruz.
I'm your host, Drew Cruz, and it's time to test your knowledge with another Aqua Quiz. Lake Erie is the shallowest and warmest of the Great Lakes. Do you know the average depth of the lake? Is it A, 49 feet, B, 55 feet, C, 62 feet, or D, 75 feet? We'll have the in-depth answer after the break. In-depth answer, what? Welcome back. Have you come up with the answer to the average depth of Lake Erie? The answer is C, 62 feet. Lake Erie is the only Great Lake sitting above sea level. Because of its warm temperatures, it has the most fish species of all the lakes. We'll see you next week with another Aqua Quiz.
You know, Selena, stormwater runoff is a big problem because when it rains on surfaces like this, water has nowhere to go.
You're right. Wouldn't it be cool if they made some kind of surface for the water to pass through?
Well, in fact, they do. Let me introduce you to my friend Emily and we'll show you.
Okay.
Hey, Emily.
Hey, how's it going?
Great, this is Selena.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So Selena was asking me earlier about pervious pavements. Can you tell me a little bit about what we have here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am the Coastal Training Program Coordinator here at Old Woman Creek Reserve. And the main focal area of the Coastal Training Program is stormwater management. Now there's 3 different kinds of pervious pavements. There's pervious asphalt, pervious concrete, and permeable pavers. So here we have permeable pavers, which is really popular, especially in parking lots, for their cost efficiency and as well as their environmental efficiency. So you can see here that the rainwater can come down and actually infiltrates through the porous limestone gravel in between the pavers It goes down, percolates through to the perforated under drain, which then leads to the catch basin. And when the catch basin is full, it goes through the open overflow and it filters down, and vegetation actually helps filter out different nutrients and heavy metals. And water from the catch basin leads to the cistern where it is reserved.
How effective and practical is this?
Well, in terms of practicality, it is really cost effective in the long run. Although it's expensive to install, in terms of maintenance, you're saving a lot of money. In terms of effectiveness, we had 4 months worth of monitoring, and over those 4 months, 21 out of 22 storms were completely captured by the pervious pavement. All right, Selena, so we're gonna do a little demonstration on how water reacts to impervious versus pervious pavement.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
So go ahead and pour some of the water on the impervious pavement first.
All right. Tell me when to stop.
All right, that's good. So you can see how the water's running off the impervious pavement, so let's go ahead and pick the bucket up and pour it on the pervious pavement.
Okay. Do it right here?
Yep.
Okay. You want me to just dump it all out?
Yep, go for it.
Nice.
And it's all gone.
There you are.
Hey guys, can you make it rain?
Sure can.
Okay, we're gonna make it rain.
Look at our reflection in the puddle, guys.
Yep, there's puddles here on the impervious surface and absolutely none on the pervious surface.
Wow. Don't go away. Aqua Kids will be right back.
Want to keep up with our adventures? Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Welcome back to Aqua Kids. Wetlands provide a nursery environment for many species of fish. As our Great Lakes adventure continues, we're here at Old Woman Creek, where we're about to pull up a pike net to see what fish are residing in the estuary. All right, have a seat.
Paddle hard.
Tugboat, Andrew. We're coming, Christy.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna need somebody on each side of the net up front here where you see the stake sticking out of the water. Once Drew gets in place, then we will start to bring the net up. This is called the lead line. Out here, this is what the fish swims into. When it hits this net, they have two choices. They can go toward shore or they can go toward the channel. The ones that go toward shore end up being funneled into the net.
Let's do it.
So we're just bringing the lead net up onto the boat. We're gonna bring the net in by each segment. I'm gonna lift it up. First, hold it upright to make sure we get anything that's in there.
Dang, look at that catfish.
This is a very big channel catfish.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You can see
Very close to me.
they're pretty common out in the lake. We catch them, a few of them in here. This is probably the biggest one I've seen in here. Here we've got largemouth bass. These are some of the top predators in the estuary. People definitely like to fish for these guys.
What do they eat?
They eat other fish.
So why is the pike net in this location?
So here we're interested in looking at the function of vegetation in wetlands, and you guys already learned one of those functions, right? Do you remember what that is?
Yeah, filtration.
Filtration, right. So that's important for water quality, but aquatic vegetation in wetlands is also important for providing habitat and food for small juvenile fish. So a lot of fish come into the estuaries and wetlands along the Great Lakes to spawn, and then this is ideal habitat for those larvae to grow up into juveniles, protected from predators before they go back out into the lake.
So it's like a nursery.
Exactly.
So what's the most common kind of fish you see?
We see a lot of centrarchids here. Centrarchids are the family that includes the basses, like the largemouth bass that we just saw, all the sunfishes, and also crappie, which we'll see a couple of here as well.
Hey, Andrew, I bet you can't say Centrarchid 3 times fast.
Centrarchid.
So what do you have there?
These are two different sunfish. This is the pumpkin seed. You can see the really pretty coloration on it, and that little orange spot on its opercular flap. This is the bluegill sunfish. It has a dark operculum and a little dark spot at the back of its dorsal fin. So these are both different kinds of sunfish. Bluegill can actually get quite big. A lot of people like to fish for them. They refer to them as panfish.
So there are an awful lot of small fish here. What's that an indicator of?
So this is just showing what the function is of this wetland in terms of providing spawning and nursery habitat for these fish. So we're in an area where a number of different species have either laid their eggs or form nests. A lot of the sunfish actually create nests where they deposit their eggs and then they guard the juveniles until they're old enough to swim off on their own. So we're seeing a lot of those sunfish and crappie that are becoming large enough now to sort of be on their own and feeding on their own.
Well, Christy, it looks like this Fike net was a success. And it's amazing to see all the services the wetland provides for both fish and people. Aqua Kids will be right back. For more information on today's show, go to aquakidstv.org.
I'm Jeremiah, and this is Earth Edition. The Lake Erie region is a watershed and wetland resource that is one of many across the U.S. On a local level, we can help protect these resources by supporting regional organizations and agencies that improve and monitor the water near our own neighborhoods. As we do our part to conserve water in our own communities, it is important to know about programs on a larger scale. One such program was mandated by the White House and is enforced through the EPA, which stands for the Environmental Protection Agency. This rule will help smaller waterways and wetlands in areas like Lake Erie. Federal protection to smaller bodies of water and wetlands will help ensure better water quality for everyone. So as the saying goes, think globally, act locally.
Welcome back to Aqua Kids. We're here at Old Woman Creek, where we will be working with researchers who are studying carbon cycling and methane emissions in the wetlands.
We're going to use a laser bouncing between the mirrors and the laser.
Hey Tim, hey Camila, how you guys doing?
Hey, doing good. How about you?
Pretty good, but what is this contraption you got here?
Well, this is our very high-tech methane sensor. So it is going to be shining a laser between these two mirrors, and based on how much of the light between these two mirrors gets absorbed, we can tell what particles are there. So methane is absorbing a certain spectrum of light, and we can tell by how much of that goes away, how many particles of methane are within this area. So we are going to be looking in the wetlands to see how much methane there is.
Cool.
Methane, where do you find methane in a wetland?
Well, methane's made deep in the soil in the wetlands by small microbiology called methanogens. And they live wherever they can find a spot where no oxygen exists. And what they'll do is they'll take the old plant material and break it down into methane, and it'll eventually get released to the atmosphere from there. It can either come up in bubbles, it can slowly diffuse out of the water, or it can get moved through the plants. And we're using our equipment to see which of the mechanisms is really active here and how it's all going to change with climate change.
So is this methane a problem for the environment?
Well, methane's a natural part of the atmosphere, and its warming effect is something that the world really depends on. In recent years, methane has gone up a lot, but it's mostly due to human activity. I think that wetland methane is a natural and healthy part of the global climate. In addition to that, wetlands also take in CO2, and they have some of the largest stores of carbon in their soils in the world. As we destroy wetlands, we are releasing a lot of that carbon back to the atmosphere. So I think it's really important that we leave wetlands the way they are climatologically.
So the key here is don't disturb the wetlands.
Yeah, because if you do, you're releasing all that stored carbon into the atmosphere.
So we have a little demonstration for you guys. So it turns out that some people breathe methane. Everybody's gut houses different microbes, and some people have microbes that make methane in there. So my friend Camilo here is going to breathe over the methane sensor and show this off.
Okay, watch me breathe methane.
Whoa.
That line just totally spiked up.
All right, I'm gonna try it.
No methane.
Not a methane breather.
I want to try it.
Yep.
Hey, Lily.
Let's go. All right, guys, so now we know who breathes methane, but is there a practical application for this? Can we use this out in the field?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, let's do it. All right, looks like we're headed to the methane peeper. Let's go.
So we're headed to this vertical PVC pipe here, and it houses a little sensor that we keep down in the soil.
All right, so can we get to the methane gas demo?
Yeah, absolutely. We can go blow it up. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this paddle and really stir up the soil, and it's gonna release a lot of bubbles of methane. We're gonna trap them in here, and then we're gonna uncap it and light it, and it's gonna make a big flame all at once.
Nice.
So you can see all these bubbles. That's a lot of greenhouse gases coming up. Hopefully a lot of it's methane.
Let's light them up.
Okay, so we're gonna try this now. So what did you think?
Well, I think it's safe to say that that was pretty lit, guys. That was awesome. Man. That's it for this week's show. Be sure to catch us next week on our Great Lakes adventure on Aqua Kids.
It was great working with Aqua Kids throughout the week. It's nice to have a group of people with a shared mission to not only educate our youth about the importance of our aquatic ecosystems, but also hopefully inspire our next generation of conservation leaders.